I tell you what, I don't like the cold weather, especially the extreme cold weather. And I remember one of the coldest times that I have ever been in my life. I was mountain climbing, and I was in another country, and I was able to climb all the way to the top of one of the largest mountains in the world. And it was so cold up there, the wind would be blowing and make the tent sound like a freight train on the inside. In fact, the wind blew so hard that it blew the tent away, and we had to go running across that mountain to catch our tent, and then we drug our tent back, and then we had to bend down, take ice and snow, and put it all around the bottom of the tent just to keep it from blowing away again. I crawled into the tent at night, so cold, and I get in my sleeping bag, and I had to take my canteen with water and put it inside my sleeping bag with me so my body heat would keep that water from freezing. Oh my, that's one of the coldest times that I've ever been in my life. Now, it may be difficult for people to live in such extreme cold temperatures, but did you know that God created some animals get along just fine living in those freezing temperatures? Hey, do you like popsicles? I love popsicles. In fact, I love anything that's cold like that. I love fudge sticks, ice cream cones, milkshakes. Sometimes they're so cold you get your brain freeze. That ever happened to you? Boy, I tell you what, don't stop me though. I wait just a moment or two. When that brain freeze is gone, I'm right back to my ice cream or my popsicle. This popsicle reminds me of one of God's creations. It's called a wood frog. Now, why would a popsicle remind me of a wood frog? Well, here's why. This popsicle is frozen solid. In the wintertime, that's what happens to the wood frog. He freezes solid like this popsicle. And you'd think it would be dead. I mean, any other creature would be dead, but not the wood frog. God designed it so that it's still alive. And when summer comes, drip, 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 and the ice starts to thaw, the icicles start melting away. Pretty soon that wood frog, he starts to thaw out. And eventually his heart is beating a little bit faster and a little bit faster. Than the wood frog, it hops away as if nothing ever happened. Amazing. Only God could create something that could withstand being froze, thawed out, and still live. You know, when I go camping in the wintertime, I usually dress in layers. I'll have on, maybe two coats. Well, did you know that God designed the polar bear the same way? It has an outer coat and an inner coat to keep it warm in those cold temperatures that it lives in. But it doesn't stop there. If we would take a razor and cut all that hair off the polar bear, his skin is not white. You'd think it would be, but it's not. His skin is black. And God designed it that way because that black skin helps to retain its body heat, helps keep it warm. But God even took it one step further. Underneath that skin, God put a 3-inch layer of fat, and that helps keep the polar bear nice, warm, and toasty on those cold, cold winter months. Several years ago, my wife and I, we kayaked the entire length of the Everglades, 100 miles. We had to have maps in order to do that adventure. 100 miles. Oh, you don't want to get lost in the Everglades. That's why we had these maps. Because in the Everglades, you have a lot of alligators out there, poisonous snakes, all kinds of bugs and mosquitoes. Even a few crocodiles live in the Everglades. And we did that 100 miles. I thought that was a really big deal. Until I learned about a little bird that God created, and it's called the Arctic tern. And what's amazing about the Arctic tern is that it doesn't go 100 miles, it goes 50,000 miles, and it doesn't have a map. It has a built-in GPS of sorts, and this works automatically. The bird doesn't know it's working, it just works. And so what the Arctic tern will do, it lives in the North Pole, and it starts to get really cold weather in the North Pole. It will fly all the way to the bottom part of the Earth, the South Pole, and it stays there until the South Pole starts to get their winter weather. Then it will wing its way all the way back to the North Pole again. 50,000 miles, doesn't have a map. Absolutely incredible. Only God could create a creature that could do something like this. So this is Turner, the Arctic tern, here to remind us what we're going to be learning today in VBS, that animals didn't happen by chance. No way. God created them that way, and it should be a reminder for us to always praise our Creator for the incredible animals that He made.